Okay, so a brief intro about our session. So in this session, we are going to explore the life-changing impact of mentorship for young people from marginalized communities, focusing on ways of mentorship which can open doors, provides guidance, and offer hope for a brighter future. And our speakers today are the leaders who have dedicated their careers to creating equitable opportunities for these youths. As I call out their names, let's give them a big round of applause and welcome them. So today we have Ms. Arpana Chaudhary, who's the CEO of the Karta Initiative. Welcome, ma'am. Please come. She has nearly 2 decades of experience in building compassionate, equitable systems. So it's our privilege to have you in our summit. Thank you, ma'am. Joining her, we have Ms. Dipanjali, who is the co-founder and COO of Led by Foundation. And Ms. Dipanjali oversees strategies, operations, and partnerships at India First Leadership Incubator for Muslim women. We're so privileged to have you, ma'am. Let's welcome her. Joining her, we have Ms. Smita, who is the co-founder of Eklavya India Foundation. She's also the young vice president of her village panchayat. So we're so privileged to have you, ma'am, also. Please welcome her on the dais. And finally, we have Ms. Prerna, who is the lead for program excellence at Mentor Together. And Prerna leads impactful mentorship for youth, especially focusing on building a digital mentoring program for those with disabilities. So we are so privileged to have you also. I think we can do better, right? I mean, we can really give them a good round of applause and welcome them. Welcome our esteemed guests. Great. So as our panelists share their experiences and insights on how mentorship can truly be a lifeline for youth facing extraordinary challenges, I think let's wait and hear their thoughts, their insights, and over to you, Prerna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Manish. Very good afternoon to all of you. So I would just like to start this panel discussion by quoting a few statistics that highlight the role that mentorship plays in uplifting youth from marginalized and underrepresented communities, right? So according to Pratham's annual status of education report, mentorship programs are linked to increased retention rates in schools in rural areas as well as underserved areas. And according to Educate Girls, girls from marginalized communities who participate in mentorship programs are 60% more likely to aspire for higher education when compared to girls who are not in any of these mentorship programs. And a report by the National Skill Development Corporation of India shows that marginalized youth who participate in mentorship programs that are connected to skill development are 42% more likely to secure stable employment in fields like healthcare, retail, technology. And finally, quoting a study from the American India Foundation, shows that youth from underrepresented groups are, who have access to mentors, have shown 40% reduction in feelings of social isolation. Yeah? So we see how mentorship programs as well as relationships are uniquely relevant to youth who face different kinds of obstacles at different points, which are generally difficult to understand as well as address in large group settings, and where personalized support across roles that a mentor plays, that is the role of a guide, the role of a friend, as well as the role of a role model, right? So we will see how this personalized support can make a huge difference and can be very consequential. And so as we have representatives of 3 organizations who have been very successfully mentoring youth who are facing different kinds of marginalization and also intersectional marginalization, right? That is the disadvantage faced by people who belong to multiple marginalized groups. We will understand how your unique mentorship models are helping address some of the challenges that these youth face, challenges related to knowledge and skill gap, network gap, as well as gender stereotypes and other kinds of stereotypes. So my first question to probably Smita, we can start with Smita, would be why do you do what you do at Ekalavya? Right? What is the big problem that you're trying to address?
First of all, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Mentoring Together team, for having us here. So, we at Eclav India Foundation work with the first generation learners, means those parents did not or never attended the college. So, and mainly we work for the underprivileged communities, students from the marginalized communities, and we mentor them to get into India's top institutions by supporting them with the mentoring and scholarship support. So let me just introduce myself that I also come from a village with a population of 350 only, and where still in my village still we do not have a transportation facility available. Like whoever want to study after 5th grade, they have to walk 5 kilometers every day, and till because of this, so my parents wanted me to get into hostel or else stay at a home. So whenever someone was asking me till my 4th grade ki aapko kahan tak padhna hai, so my answer was from 1 to 100. I didn't know that time ki what does it mean 100, but I wanted to study at 100. I was answering that starting from 1 I want to go 100. But then when I went to hostel, I spent my 6 years of life in hostel, and it was extremely, like, I can't even imagine for anyone today that kind of life I had in hostel. So, and when I studied in a school where after completing 10th, I did not had even orientation that how to get into college for 11th and what are the streams available there. So one day, my mother and father never attended the schools, and they did not study much. But my father, with my documents, went to another block and he got me admitted in a college, and with his own decision. He didn't even ask me, he just told me that I'll take your documents and I'll go and check if you can get an admission with a 58 percentage in any college. So he was just supposed to check if I can get admission or not, but he like went with the documentations, and then he got me admitted into MCVC field. That is another stream of occasional kind of program they provide. After going for a 1 week into the college, I realized that this is not something that I can do or I want to do. So instead, so how hard it was for me that instead of studying 11th in the vocational stream, I preferred to spend my 1 year in my farm. So my father is a farmer. So I decided to spend my 1 year in a farm and just give an exam. So I did that. I spent 1 year. I did everything that can, like that agriculture takes as from the woman. So I did everything. I know everything, and I can do now also. So I did that. But what I realized, what I like, I can say that I do not need any kind of learning beyond that experiences I had in a 1 year. What I realize is the real life of rural people, how they live with the poverty, how they live with the inequalities, with the lack of opportunities, and with how they struggle for 100 rupees, for a 10 rupees every day. So that and also insecurities, like because of the climate change and everything, like you spend your 1 year and you didn't get anything from the farm. So with these insecurities, I decided that I don't want to do farm anymore or any kind of agriculture related work in my future. So I said that, Smita, whatever you do, you at least get a job of 5,000 and study till that, which can give you a 5,000 ka job. So I decided to continue in the vocational stream, and then did that for 1 year. I passed my 12th, and with the suggestion of one of my faculty, I didn't even know the full form of BSW, what stands for the Bachelor of Social Work. But with his guidance, that he told BSW नाम का कुछ course होता है, and you may उसमें आप social work पढ़ते हो. And then yeah, he told me, and I got admitted there, and there, that kind of, I think then only I started realizing the what mean mentoring to the students from coming from the rural background or students from the background where they do not have a peer support, or they do not have a single mentor to mentor them. So themselves being the first generation learner, they lack with the mentoring and guidance supports from the family, from the peers. And I can say that with a lot of historical poverty, with a lot of historical inequalities, operation, caste-based operation, gender-based operations, they build their inferior complex, like it is a historical inferior complex, so which affected my education actually, I would say. And it is not the story of my own. It is the story of all our founders, like we are four co-founders, and it is the story of everyone. And it is the story of all of our students who are currently in Eklavya. So far we have impacted like 2,000 students we have trained then, and out of them 1,200 got admission into India's 100 plus institutions like in India and globally as well, by unlocking the scholarship of around 60 crores. So this is not the story of my own, but I'm representing the Eklavya with along with our every and each one of students. So today we have like Tai and Suraj, two are our students. So yeah, they can also share their experiences. But yeah, we realize the importance of having mentor, having peer supporter, having someone who can resonate closely with us. So that's why we provide the mentor who can resonate with the students, who are the relatable role models, who are the relatable, like share their lived experiences, share their same experiences, circumstances, and everything that is similar to them. Like the mentor is also coming from the similar background, mentee is also coming from the similar background. They shared their journey. So that this is how they resonate. There is no kind of a differentiation between the gender once they resonate with their story. So this is how we engage the mentor, and we provide them a mentoring one-on-one. So if student is applying for 10, 15 opportunity after graduation, after 12th or after post-graduations, we provide them a 15 mentors like one-on-one mentoring, and they have their weekly calls. Their mentors are quite approachable. We are also quite approachable to them. So they just text on WhatsApp, and whenever possible to us, we ensure that end of the day we respond them. Or mentor also ensures that end of the day they will respond to them, because all our mentors are alumni. And we initially we did not have that much mentors obviously, but then now we have a community of 500 mentors who volunteer with us at the free of cost. And they also feel that they are also accountable for the society, to give back to their community, and to help them to their society, also to help them to overcome the poverty through the higher educations, by providing access or by providing mentoring. And also how can we collectively build the social mobility for them. So we are collectively trying to make higher education accessible to the first generation learner, mainly from the marginalized communities. And if we see the data also, one from ST community, one from scheduled tribe community, two from scheduled caste community, and three from other backward communities only continue to the higher education. The students from this community only continue to the higher educations. And if you also see the university-wise representation, if you see the data of All India Survey on Higher Education, like government published by Government of India, it also clearly says that in 10 top Indian universities, in 7 universities, students from SC/ST communities are still underrepresented, like in 7 universities. And also, which leads, like there are a lot of reasons, lot of challenges that they go through, and obviously lack of support also leads them to the different problems. And you may have seen that recently data was published in Parliament that 25,000 students from SC/ST communities had dropped out from IITs and central universities in India. So this is something that is, consequences are leading to the limited job opportunity, limited social mobility, and then hence continue to that poverty cycle. So this is very important for us to ensure that they have access to the quality higher educations, which can help them to uplift their own communities and build their grassroots leaderships, and also ensure their representation in the mainstream and decision-making processes. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Smita. It's really inspiring. And thanks for highlighting these issues through your personal experience, as well as by giving us a macro picture from all the statistics that you quoted. Thank you. Yeah, Dipanjali, if you could share a little bit about why you do the work you do at Led By.
Sure. So my name is Dipanjali Lahiri. I am the co-founder and chief operating officer of Led By Foundation. So Led By Foundation is India's first and only leadership incubator for Indian Muslim women. The reason why we focus on Indian Muslim women is, and I'm going to throw some statistics at you. So Muslim women represent 8% of India's population, but in the workforce, Muslim women represent less than 1% of the workforce. And now I'll just give you a little bit of an anecdotal evidence. So before I joined our founder in the mission that we have today, I worked for 15 years in corporate India. I worked in some of the largest retail companies. I worked in the largest tech company in India. And in my entire 15 years, I worked with one Muslim woman. And I'm going to just let that sink in. And I had hired, and I was in a hiring position eventually, and I had hired no Muslim women. And the interesting thing for me is that I only had that realization as the founder and we began having a conversation, and we said that this is the work we want to do. What is the problem that we want to solve? And this is the problem we want to solve. And why do we want to solve it? Because of women like me. Because we are in a position where we can change, we can change hiring decisions, we can change the way employment happens in organizations, and we're not doing that. So the reason I decided to co-found Led by Foundation was exactly for this reason, to check my privilege to, of course, solve and be part of the solution of increasing the representation of Muslim women in India's private sector workforce, but more than that, to also raise the voice of women like me, to be able to say, check your privilege. Because if you have the privilege of knowing, if we know that there is a problem, we don't have the luxury of not doing anything. So my work was more related to, talking more and more about the problem. Now, just to throw a little bit of light on Led by Foundation, so we're a 5-year-old organization, and the way we tackle representation is through a demand and supply challenge. And I'll talk about supply first. So supply is when recruiters in corporates, they say, recruiters like me in my previous life, we say that, of course I want to hire Muslim women, but I don't see enough resumes. Where will I hire them from? That solution is with us, because we run 2 fully funded programs on professional development and on leadership development. And every year we graduate between 150 and 200 Muslim women per year. So far, we've got about 2,000 women who've graduated in our alumni base, and we have 10,000 women in the community. So recruiters don't have the excuse anymore, and if there are recruiters here, you don't have the excuse anymore. Please come and hire from Led by. Please come and consider Muslim women to be an equal part in the talent pool. That's the supply that we're trying to solve. In terms of demand, that's a more difficult challenge, and it's a more long-term systemic challenge, because we want to create demand. We want to see that Muslim women are equal parts to be considered in a talent pool. And the way we tackle that is through data and research. And also the reason why we do research is, as Ruha, who is the founder, and we were conceptualizing Led by, we struggle to find data on Muslim women. Today, if you Google Muslim women's workforce representation, you most likely will not find that nuanced data, and you'll mostly find them in terms of in terms of medical, their lack of medical access, their lack of education access, but you won't find data on representation of Muslim women. So we said we will take on that mantle. And the way we use data is to be able to, because people believe numbers. So we work with data, we do research to ensure that we go back to organizations, we go back to other researchers, institutions, to say that there is a problem. Let's now find the solution together to be able to change that. So our first research paper was launched in 2022 on hiring bias, where and I'll just throw a little bit of light, and I'll talk to you all maybe a little later after this about it. But it was on, we created 2 exact same resumes, one with a Hindu-sounding name and one with a Muslim-sounding name, and we applied to 1,000 entry-level jobs. And not surprisingly, at the end of the applications, we saw that the Hindu-sounding resume received almost 50% more positive callbacks from recruiters. 50% more. And that number, to me as a researcher, is also startling and deeply disappointing. We now had the ammunition to go back to other organizations and say that anecdotally, of course, we know that there is bias, but now we have numbers to show the level of bias, and we do have solutions. And these solutions are not just to say, hire more Muslim women. It is to say, hire people from marginalized communities, from various organizations that are doing work with marginalized communities. So that's what we do to tackle the problem of demand. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're really trying to create an equitable society where we say that, like I said, if you know that there is a challenge and if there is a room where people look like you, sound like you, are talking the same language, then that is a problem. It's not an advantage. So look around you and just be aware of this problem. So that's what we're trying to change through awareness, through programs, and through the demand and supply solutions that we have.
Thank you so much, Dipanjali. That was really interesting. Not just the supply side, but the demand side of the issue as well. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Aparna, we would love to hear about why Karta is, doing all of the work with youth. Yes, please, if you can throw some light on, some of the systemic issues as well. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Prerna. Thanks the wider Mentor Together team and Arundhati for giving us this opportunity to talk about Karta and why we are doing what we are doing. We have many Karta scholars here, and we have Shashank here, our program and partnerships lead. And many of you would have met the Karta scholars, the young people who have been mentored by Karta. So let me start with your question as to why we are doing what we are doing. So I'll start a bit with my journey as to how it all started. So I have been concerned about the issue of inequality in general for a very long time now, and that's the primary reason of what we are doing right now. So I decided, so my journey with social sector, it started with Azim Premji Philanthropy. Earlier I was in the corporate sector like Dipanjali, worked with consulting and different organizations, working with the CXOs and the board level executives. So at Azim Premji Philanthropy, I traveled across the country, like almost all the states, to the remotest parts of the country. And it gave me a chance to understand different programmatic models, interact with the NGOs doing phenomenal work across thematic areas of small and marginal farmers, transgenders, community-based organizations, local democracy, issues of adolescents, children, livelihood. And it just helped me build a lot of perspective. Earlier, I used to think that, oh, I understand the problems, the grassroots problems of India. But when I worked at Azim Premji Philanthropy, in fact, I can say that it opened up my eyes. I could understand the challenges on the ground. And I met phenomenal people. I met a lot of people who I consider my mentors, and they inspire me a lot. However, there was one challenge, that challenge is still there, which I felt, how are we creating meaningful future for the youth who are coming from marginalized communities, especially from the rural areas? If we look at gross enrollment ratio of higher education in India, it's less than 30%. And I'm quoting a 2-year-old data which says the gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 27.8%. To be precise, that means if 100 students are graduating out of class 12th, less than 30 students are able to get into any higher institution of learning, including universities, including colleges, including ITIs. And this is a very, very embarrassing data. Now, let's deconstruct this 27.8% at the national level. Because it is still 27.8%, because there is a contribution from the cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. And also, it's because of the students who come from upper castes. It is 27.8% because of the students who come from certain communities. But if we go to the villages, if we go to the underserved areas, let's go to Anantnag, let's go to Baramulla, let's go to India-Nepal border, Araria, Supal, let's go to Adivasi-dominated districts of Jharkhand, Dumka, Pakur, let's go to places like Gadchiroli, Chandrapur, let's go to Yadgir, Bellary, Raichur. What is happening to those youth? Where are they? We have talked to teachers, principals, and I don't have data to say this, but anecdotally it seems that the youth who come from rural areas and are from marginalized communities, hardly 8 to 10% youth, or less than 8 to 10% youth are able to get into higher institution of learning. And this is more embarrassing than the gross enrollment ratio of the country. And we don't want to acknowledge it, and we don't want to talk about it. And also, I started observing that the people who are into the decision-making roles, whether in the corporate sector and especially in the social sector, people who are in the decision-making roles, they come from upper caste communities. Where is the representation from marginalized youth or people who are coming from marginalized communities? Why is that happening? Why are people not, people are able to, let's say, they are able to become a field worker in an NGO. What about the managerial roles? What about the supervisory roles? What about the CXO roles? What about the board roles? I have met a lot of organizations where they have a board which would comprise of Adivasi women and, let's say, Dalit women who would not be even aware about what is the role of board. For the namesake, people will form an advisory board or something. I'm saying some things which are literally hard-hitting. So I decided, and I also felt that the organizations who are working in the space of education, they are working with students till either class 8th or 10th. And the ones who are working in the space of skilling, they are nudging young people from marginalized communities to low-level skilling opportunities. So what happens when you get into low-level skilling options, you get into low-paying jobs. You are able to get into entry-level jobs. So while I was with philanthropy during COVID times, we had got so many ground-level stories that youth who are graduates, who are postgraduates, they were working under Narega, earning 250 rupees, 300 rupees per day. That was very, very disappointing and very, very painful. So I decided to work with marginalized youth to have, let's say, an ecosystem-based, end-to-end, holistic kind of an intervention where we support youth in this phase, where they're moving from adolescence to adulthood, the age group of 14 to 25 years, which happens to be a very, very difficult age group for anyone, for any human being, and especially for the human beings who come from marginalized communities, rural areas in the country, and help them with quality higher education, also support them with mentorship, make them career ready, so that they are able to enter the world of work and also focusing on human values. The idea is to create special routes. The idea is to build their social capital, their cultural capital, so that they can get into decision-making roles faster as compared to their peer groups. So what we essentially do at Karta is, and as I said, that this is what our vision is, we want to break this intergenerational cycle of marginalization. We don't want that there is one pandemic, there is one bad economic cycle, and they're back to their villages. No, they should not. If, let's say, they go into Azim Premji University, they go into Ashoka University, they go to Delhi University, they go to Oxford, they go to University of Toronto. And these are the universities with whom we are working. So what we have done, we have formed a network of universities in India, in the UK and Canada, as the names that I just said. Apart from those names, the likes of Ahmedabad University, Flame University, abroad, the universities like University College London, Edinburgh University, McGill University, Queen's University Canada. All these universities provide 100% scholarship to the students who go through Karta Access program, which we do in the school. So there are two primary interventions. One is our school program, where we work with young people who are studying in class 11th and 12th, and they are supported in an end-to-end manner from career guidance, counseling, academic support, parental counseling, engaging with the teachers, engaging with their families, helping them to get into the right universities. Because this very information, which university should they apply to? And as Smita, you were talking, and I could so much empathize with you, and so many of our scholars would empathize with you, that a person who is born in, let's say, a place like Delhi, comes from an elite background, would know which university to apply to. But even the knowledge of this information is missing in the rural youth. So we focus on this. And then while they join the university, we work with parents a lot to let their children move out of their villages and districts to bigger cities like Delhi, Mumbai. Just imagine talking to a parent who comes from a small and marginal farming background, having a land holding size of less than 1 acre, or even a landless farm labor, and talking to them and convincing them that, hey, you let your girl move from Araria, move from Supal, move from Anantnag, go to Delhi, go to Bangalore. So that needs a lot of parental counseling. The other part of our work is when the young people get into these universities. And as these universities are pretty elite in themselves, the scholars sometimes, and maybe many times, feel very marginalized. So the, the first part here becomes is to make them feel comfortable in the universities, work on their confidence, work on their articulation. They should not feel that they are imposters. They should feel that they belong, and they should thrive there. And then we help them to get into the right internships so that they are career ready. And then, as I said, we work continuously on their social and cultural capital building. So what we do, we map them with external mentors who are very accomplished individuals in their own right. They might be coming from the social sector or the social or the corporate sector. And the idea is that these mentors, they introduce their mentee scholars into their networks so that there is a significant step change in the social capital of the scholars, the Karta scholars. The second part is the building of cultural capital. So what we have been recommending to our scholars is the easiest way to build cultural capital is to start reading the right type of books so that you can start the right conversations at the right places and hold those conversations. And be on the right social media platforms, like be on LinkedIn. Build a profile on LinkedIn and keep on posting the appropriate content. And the idea is to help them till the time they enter the world of work. So this is what we're doing.
That is great. That's wonderful. I really like how you said you want them to belong and thrive in these universities, right? Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Smita, I understand you already spoke a little bit about your mentorship model, but if you could share a little bit more on what you've thought of as the design of the mentoring program in your context. If you could, share, the different roles that mentors are playing, and also how you, most importantly, how you train your mentors and how you sensitize them towards the specific issues that your mentees are facing, and how you deal with internal biases and stereotypes.
Definitely. What can we imagine? I will say, what can we imagine a future for students coming from like in Eklavya, like 90% students are coming from the background where their annual family income is below 50,000. Okay? And their farmers they have a marginal farmers, or they do agriculture related work, or a lot of I will say, like, I'm also from village and I go often visit my family. So not in my village, but rarely I say that, very frequently I say that I saw the youths who are unemployed or not educated. So what can we imagine for them? Like students, so we started in 2017, and that time we did a survey in the Melghat. So Melghat is basically a area geographically, like every aspect of life they are the backward. They are the they do not even have a basic access to the basic amenities that we required for a daily life actually. So it is most backward area, I will say. So that time we did not find a single graduate person in 10 villages. We did a survey in 10 villages and we did not find a single graduate person. So today we have 40 students from that area studying in different top Indian universities. And also lot of girls, recently I was sharing the story of one of my my sister's classmate. So my sister is recently completed her graduation, and her classmate, she's now 19, not, she's about to complete her 19, and she, she got married, when she completed her 10th, she got married. She's having 3 babies now, and because of drink, her husband passed away. So, and recently I met another girls, like 3 4 girls in my village, and I got to know that they dropped out from a school, and they are not continuing their education. So they studied till 10, and then without reason, I could have support them with a scholarship. I could have do so many things for them, like, because they are from my village, and they are my, somehow they are connected, and somehow they are my relatives too. But I couldn't convince their parents on time, because see, obviously the social pressure of early child marriages, gender biases, and then again, security is one of challenges that I said, that 5 kilometers girls have to walk by every day to go to the college or school after 5th grade. So there are a lot of reasons, like we do not have a bus, we do not have a college nearby, they do not have that much financial support at home, and their family, in their families also, there is no one who could have studied till 8th or 9th, or even 10th is a far more. So what can we imagine for them as a future? And there are a lot of cases, like I'm 26 now, and like being 26, I have to convince daily basis, like I have to convince either the parents of girls students who did graduation or post graduations. I have to convince the boys parents as well, who did graduation or post graduation. So I do both jobs. So this is the scenario, and still, like, we have to there are cases that our students, female students, have got into really good institutions with a really, like, 100% scholarship, but still her parents, because of marriage, were not able to send her. So we supported her to run away from home, and she got into university. She recently this year graduated from topmost university in Bangalore, from Azim Prem's University, and she got placed. She's also currently working with one of organizations in Rajasthan, working with the girls, working on the girls education only. So now her parents are super proud and super happy that she's earning 40,000 rupees, and she's supporting them. So there are a lot of stories, like I would say one of Shubhangi, who is also studying in Azim Prem's University. She's a tribal girl. Her parents do the Roj Mazduri in others' farm. So, and she got to know about Eklavya somehow through her connections. She came to Eklavya, she did a residential training program, she went to Azim Prem's University, and she supported her, like the co-fellow siblings, her small siblings. And then her small siblings, like Shubhangi, started her journey with Eklavya for the masters. But her small sisters, Shruti, started her journey with undergraduate. She went to Ferguson. Now she is currently studying in Ashoka University. So this is how the kind of impact that we are creating to our alumni as well, and also through building a peer support as well. So we do not, like, it is not the formal program for us, I would say, because we cannot be the formal, like we always try, we discuss lot of times in a team that we need to structure, we need to do this, we need to have a timeline, etc., etc. But we realize that this is not going to work at all. If I miss the missed call today, and maybe I will not receive it tomorrow. There are a lot of cases where it happens that students have got the admission into good universities, but they did not inform us, and they have lost with the admission confirmation deadlines, and sometimes their interviews, they miss with that as well. Because it is, as said by Aparna, I absolutely resonate with that this is the operation, and it is built in their blood as well. Like, I can resonate with my own experiences, that how difficult it was for me to speak up for my own self. I was not, it took me 2 years in first year and second year when I went to graduation to speak up and to be my own self, which I was at my home. So I couldn't be, it took me 2 years. So I can resonate that, we can understand that how difficult it is for them to speak up. So we have to take a follow-up, we have to respond to their message. Like every time, I receive a call at 11 p.m., sometimes 12 12 p.m. And if I am working or if I am doing anything at 1 a.m. also, no, they'll message me ki Smita to ye ho gaya, and then I have to respond them. Because I have to ensure that including our founder and CEO, he also ensure that he respond to the student. Others, like other tasks obviously are important, but students are the centric for us, and our founder and CEO is very, very centric to the, when it comes to the students. So we do not compromise with that. So kind of support we have to, beyond formalizations or beyond informal mentoring, we have to support them with this. And there are a lot of things that they go through, like emotional, mental challenges as well. We have to support, like as said by, obviously it is first though, it is that they come from a background where they lost their hope with the aspiration. It is really, really bad when you dream something for yourself, that you want to study at district level. At least studying at district level, it is like studying at Delhi for us. It was for me. It wasn't like less than that. So it is same for them as well. Studying at district level, it is hard, equivalent to studying at Delhi for rural students. So students having aspirations, students having a dream of studying at district level, when it shattered because of the financial background, because of the social pressure, because of the lot of challenges. They do not have access. Like I got my first Android phone when I was in third year of my bachelor degree. And that was the first phone in my family, first Android phone in my family. So this is the same situation still they have. And it is true everywhere, like for them at least. And we have a lot of students who do not have a phone, or they have to manage they have to lot of things to do installment, or do a lot of things to get their first Android phone. So there are a lot of things that they don't get on time, like their fee, their books, their stationery, their college bag, their uniform, their admission fee even, 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, it is huge. For rural people, it is huge. So they do not get on time. So because of this, and their obviously socio-economical challenges, emotional challenges, atmosphere they have at the home, very conservative, very stressful, and not that like in village, it is very kind of not that open up, or that kind of healthy environment. So with this environment, maintaining resilience, maintaining or passion to pursue something, or to have to achieve our aspiration, it is really hard for them. So we have to build their aspiration that you can do these things, or go there. And if you feel that getting into IIT is very hard for, so there are talented students as well. We realize their potential that is untouched, absolutely untouched potential they are having. And which we have realized that if they get the opportunity, they will rock everywhere. We have an exceptional example, and it can take a month for me to tell the story, that much story we have of our students. So it is really hard for them. So we have to build the aspiration, we have to support them on every steps. And we by also provide the relatable role model. So that's the main core area of our mentoring program, that we engage relatable role models which completely resonate with the mentee, and mentor also resonate with the mentee. So including every program, like in consider our faculty, our team members, everyone are with the lived experience as a first generation learner, including our speakers in all workshops and everything. So we ensure that they get that opportunity. And for mentors, so we do kind of support, provide a support. We build their capacity. We build, like being a student, starting from day first to the getting into university and being alumni. We build their perspective that you have to give back whatever you can. So there are a lot of ideas we have introduced them. And and at least there are a lot of, so this impact whatever I have shared, that is measured by Eklavya. But there are a lot of impact that has been created indirectly through our alumni. So maybe, for example, I am also an alumni of Eklavya India Foundation. Another co-founder, Akash, is also one of our alumni of our Eklavya. So there are a lot of our alumni who have directly, indirectly mentored their juniors. They have built the network, they have built the kind of cultural, social capital within their village. within their community, within their tanda, pada, in remote geographies. They have built their kind of cultural capital, and like said, the example of Melghat. So we got the Kishore first. Kishore was one of our students. We got him first, and he helped us to reach and to brought the 40 students out of the Melghat. So this kind of indirect intervention so that our mentors are doing. So that's why we build their capacity through different perspective building, different conducting sessions, providing different kind of support, having alumni meetup, city-wise meetup, chapter-wise meetups as well. We do celebrate alumni and achievers meet where we recognize them, we recognize their valuable time, energy they put into. And the challenge is obviously that obviously our mentors. So I think that is one of our area that we need to build our capacity. How we can build our alumni program. We are also looking for how we can be the self-sustained organizations even in the future, supported by our alumni as well. So we are also looking for that. And obviously, we are currently also working on the building of alumni program to even to only to sustain our organizations, but also to build the capacity of our mentors so they can give their best to the mentee. So yeah.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Smita. I think that's a great model, right? Through your alumni, building the organization and taking the cause forward. And it's more like a flexible and need-based, natural mentorship that you have at your organization. Thank you. Deepanjali, if you could throw some light on the structure of your mentorship program.
Yeah.
You can share about the duration, frequency, or...
Sure.
Yeah.
So Led by Foundation, like I said, in terms of the supply side, we run 2 fully funded programs, one on leadership development and one on professional development. Our focus is on ensuring that the Muslim woman who has anyway struggled to reach higher education, she doesn't drop off from higher education. That higher education is converted not just to a job but to a career. That's what we are looking at through the 2 programs that we run. Now, mentorship for us is not just a program component, it's really the heart of everything that we do at Led By. We have Sana over here, who is an alumni, a volunteer, and also now the coordinator of our newly launched entrepreneurship program. So catch her after this and talk to her about the mentorship program. But I'll give you an example. I'll explain this to you with an example. So let's think of Sana at the center of the program. She is a Led By fellow. She gets, and of course, she gets access to the workshops, which are all customized, all curated for a young Muslim woman, and in most cases are also delivered by Muslim women. Now, in terms of and she gets coached, and then also she gets mentored. Now, our mentorship model is a 360-degree mentorship model, which means Sana is at the center of this model, and she gets down mentored by a community of advisors in residence. And these advisors in residence are brilliant Muslim women in most cases, Muslim women from across various industries, various streams across the world who have achieved great heights and who are ready to mentor somebody like a Sana. So they provide their leadership, their guidance, their challenges as Muslim women themselves to Sana. Now that's the down mentorship that we have. We also have peer mentorship because every program that we run, and depending on whichever program, the cohort size is between 25 to 75, and we are very intentional about diverse cohorts, which means that we have people from various regions, various socio-economic backgrounds, and of course from different education streams as well. So the peer mentorship that a Sana would get would be diverse because she gets experience from somebody who's almost her age. Then finally, and this is my most favorite part, Sana also gets to mentor 2 school-going girls. Now what that does for Sana is that it makes her realize the importance, the value, and the responsibility of being a mentor and a mentor, or advisor in residence. It gets her to feel the responsibility, and also for the 2 school-going girls, they have Sana Didi to look up to, a Muslim role model to look up to, because that way we are not just breaking barriers, but we're also creating this network effect and making sure that the next generation looks up and wants to become like a Sana. So that's the model that we operate, and it has been fantastic for us. There are teething issues. I will not deny that we figured everything out, but this is the model that we run, operate, and we are very, very proud of the way we run the mentorship model. We today have about 80 plus advisors in residence, 80% of whom are Muslim women. We also have male allies. We also have mentors like me who are not from the community. The way we train them and the way we bring them onto our platform is we tell them to come from a place of empathy. Not that we are guiding you, not that we are directing you. We tell them you come from a place of empathy. And in most cases, our advisors in residence are very, very pro learning more about the community if they are not from the community. They are part of the programs, they are part of the workshops, they have one-on-one sessions before they decide that they want to be an advisor in residence. Overall, the mentorship program is about 20 hours. Overall, all forms of mentorship is about 20 hours. And at the end of this, what we want is that we want a Sana to feel seen, valued, and heard so that she has the scaffolding, and this is a term that I learned just today in the session, the scaffolding to become the best woman at her job. That's what we want her to be. So that she is, of course, she's a role model in her own community and her family, but she's also a role model in the organization. So we need the support of everybody to bring Sana up to a pedestal, and mentorship is at the heart of all of that.
Thank you so much, Dipanjali. I think that was a great bird's eye view of the 360 model that you all are, that you'll have adopted. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're also running out of time a little bit, but yeah, definitely we would want to hear from you about your mentorship model at Karta. Yeah, could just
Thank
give
you.
us an overview. Thank you.
Thank you, Prerna. Okay. So I will talk about different steps in our mentorship and who does all those steps and how is it all structured.
Sure.
So the first step of our mentorship is during school, as I earlier said, providing the right type of information as to which kind of universities and courses a young person should be applying to. That's primarily done by Karta team members who are based out of Delhi, and also by Karta fellows, young people who come from the community, who speak the local language, who have some kind of similarity with the social and cultural context of the young people they're mentoring. So what we do, we keep on doing physical workshops, we keep on visiting schools, and we also have once in a week mentorship session while schools are ongoing. So that's the first step. The second step is counseling the parents. Once the young people, they get admissions, constantly talking to them, and that we do during the months of April to August while the results are out, and it's a continuous process. Sometimes the Karta team members, they end up talking to the parents even like a couple of times in a week. So those are continuous conversations with the parents. And also what we do, once we start engaging with young people in the schools and with youth groups, we try to start a little early and start talking to the parents to start the process of trust building. But the conversations become very intensive during April to August when they're transitioning to the university. Then the third step is once they get into the universities. As I said, the idea is that the scholars, the young people from marginalized communities, they should feel that they belong to the campus. They are the rock stars. So for that, what we do, we have different levels of mentorship. The first level of mentorship is done by senior scholars. For example, Neha is here. So Neha has been a group leader, and she has been mentoring the junior scholars who come to the campus. They will figure out, okay, this is when university is starting, so let's get your train tickets done. Okay, which station are you reaching to? We'll go and we'll pick you up. So we do all of that. The second level is through university sabhas. So on the lines of Gram Sabhas, we have instituted university sabhas on the campus. So what is done is, there are two group leaders who are selected, I will not say selected, who are, let's say, decided through consensus by the scholars on the campus and also Karta team members, one boy and one girl. As I said, Neha has been one of the group leaders at her university. And their job is to make sure that all the scholars, all the Karta scholars on the campus, they gather every week. And then they discuss all the challenges amongst themselves so that whatever problems or issues they are facing, for example, something as little as submitting an assignment on time, and if you fail to submit an assignment, how do you even communicate with your professor so that there is no grade drop, so that you don't fail? So if you are able to communicate to your professor in a timely manner and get an extension of 1 or 2 days, you are not going to flunk. So even this kind of information, or let's say if you fall sick, where do you go? So all those things are done in those sabhas. And then the third level here in this entire thing is done by our Karta team members, who take weekly sessions with each university. So whatever problems are not resolved during these 2 levels are discussed in those weekly sessions. This is online. And also the scholars share what good has been happening. And in these sessions, we see whether scholars are attending the university on a constant basis. So for us, not attending classes is the first red flag. We also track whether everything is, whether they're doing good in terms of health, nobody's falling sick, because once they move to a different place, during the first 6 months, there are a lot of health issues. So we have to track that. And third bit is, how are they doing in their quizzes, in their unit tests? Is everything going fine or not? So this is done all internally. Then the next step is to make sure that they become work ready. So we encourage all Karta scholars to do internships, relevant internships during academic breaks. So they're supposed to do at least 3 mandatory internships during the break between year 1 and year 2, year 2 and year 3, year 3 and year 4. And we have done a ladder approach. So what we do after the end of first year, we get them intern with various NGOs, various community-based organizations. The idea is twofold. One, they are not yet ready to work in a very, very professional or a corporate setup. So it gives them some bit of understanding how to work with people, how to deal with unknowns, how to navigate, how do you figure out things? How do you even write an email? All those things. After the end of second year, we map them for different opportunities, wherein they intern with the organizations across corporate sector, social sector, media, law, finance, whatever their interest areas are. And similarly, after the end of third year also, they are supposed to do an internship which is in line with their career pathway. And the idea is, by the time they graduate or they come into fourth year, they should be ready. They should have the confidence to sit into the placements, and they should be able to get jobs. Now the challenge that we face is the idea of making a resume or a CV is not present. And see, they are all smiling here. So this is also something that senior scholars and Karta team members continuously imbibe in them, that no, you have to. The next and the most important part of this mentorship is social capital and cultural capital building. For that, what we do is we conduct workshops, and we invite people from across the country who are veterans in their own right, and they take sessions on different topics, and we encourage all the Karta scholars to attend those workshops. We also encourage them to attend different seminars. For example, they're here. We also encourage them to different certificate courses. For example, some of them are doing this Aspire course by Harvard, which they have just started. So we encourage them to do all these things so that their social capital is built. The second part, as I mentioned earlier, is we have formed a network of external mentors who are accomplished individuals in their own right, and they also help them build their career profiles. They basically they help them to figure out what could be different options, and also introduce them into their own networks. For example, Neha here sitting, she's being mentored by one of the entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. So we are able to attract people who are at the CXO levels, or one or two, they are in the leadership positions like VPs or senior VPs, who mentor our scholars. Now coming to how do we get these mentors, and what do we look into these mentors? So our scholars, so there is this value system which Smita just talked. So they mentor Karta team members But the external mentors, when we get them in our network, the first thing that we see is being compassionate. Just being empathetic might not be sufficient. Once a scholar has a problem, the idea is the mentor should be able to help them out. The mentor should be able to get them into their own networks. The second quality that we look for is the ones who understand the issues of adolescents. Because adolescents have their whole lot of different issues. And they're moving to adulthood. They are supposed to do mistakes. So how do you guide them? The third and the most important piece is they should firmly believe in affirmative action. We get a lot of mentors who say they want to mentor, who want to feel good, but if we figure out that they don't believe in affirmative action, we don't take them into our networks. Because we also get a lot of people who openly say things which are not in favor of affirmative action, so they are a clear no-go. So this is what we look into our mentors.
Great, great. Thank you so much. That's a very well thought of, program. Definitely a layered approach, right? Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, in the interest of time, maybe just like if each of you could share, like if we just think about the process of effective mentoring, right? So, any one learning area for you in the sense for your organization as a whole. Any one development area, like this is where we want to develop further. So if you could just share one, maybe Aparna, you could, please, if you could start.
Okay, we have many, but I will. I'll just talk about one in the interest of time, which has been bothering me and also the team. Now that we are supporting so we are working with about 2,000 young people in schools and about 300 scholars in different universities at 100% scholarship. And they will be now graduating. तो हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत है उनके लिए, where are they going to get good jobs, which are relevant with their degrees, which are in commensuration with their degrees. How do we sensitize workplaces? How do we build a network of organizations across the corporate sector, across the social sector, who will not socially map our scholars, who will not just assess them on the way they come across or the way they speak English or about their mannerisms, although we work on all of it. So we are thinking of running a DEI campaign this year, and wherein we are contemplating and deliberating to reach out to organizations who are claiming that they want to implement DEI. So we want to tell them that, see, DEI is not just about gender. It's not just about having women or just about having individuals of non-binary genders in the workplaces. If we are really serious about DEI, then let's talk about Dalits. Let's talk about Adivasis. Let's talk about Muslims. Let's talk about Kashmiri Muslims. Let's talk about people who come from geographically remote areas. Let's talk about people who are first-generation learners. Can we have them? We have, as you were saying, we have a pipeline of such brilliant scholars who have done different internships, who have gone to the likes of Ashoka University, Azim Premji University, who have gone to University of Toronto, who have gone to Edinburgh University. Are you ready to take them, hire them? So that is our area that we want to work upon.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Aparna. Dipanjali.
Everything that Aparna said is also a challenge that we face, just to make the answer quicker. But another thing that I think a lot of organizations that run mentorship programs would also face is that to make young people understand the value of having mentors. For us, we have it as part of the curriculum, and it is a mandate. So of course, the girls in our program, they have to finish, and we don't want it to just be a checkbox activity. For both the founder and myself, we've had mentors who've been with us for decades, and we've reached wherever we are because of our mentors. We want to be able to instill that understanding with the program participants. So just getting them to understand the value and continuing to nurture the mentorship relationship even after they graduate from the Led by Fellowship or the other programs that we are running. That's, I think, something that we are still trying very, very hard to do, and we're still in a growth journey there.
Interesting. Thanks, Dipanjali.
Yeah, so I think for us, I would say alumni program building and then the technology, because so for us it is starting from the onboarding. Like for onboarding, we do the selection process, starting from there to alumni getting graduated from the university, from the fellowships, and getting again placed in the white collar jobs is something that we are lacking to track. So I think I would say the technology interventions or the need or area of development is this for us for now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all three of you. I think we will be able to take 2 questions from the audience. Yes, please. Lord Yash, one here and then, yeah, one there. Okay.
Ma'am, yeah, since you were talking about Muslim women and how you help them build their career identity, I could remember one of my Muslim friend who got married in 2 or 3 months after her 12th. So it was so surprising and depressing for me to get the invite, and I saw it, and I actually went to her marriage, and I told her that I didn't expect you in this situation at my age. And she responded me telling that she was forced to get into this marriage, and she didn't want it to, she was not expecting this place either. And at the same time, one of her cousin, she was also my classmate, and while she was getting married, my friend, she was getting married, and her cousin was trying to get into a college. So there's like a discrimination within her family itself. And when I went to her marriage, and I was also, attending my entrance interview in my car while attending her marriage. So my question is, where do you think they lack in these circumstances and like with the information and knowledge of like in the families, and what do you think can prevent this happenings?
No, and that's a question that we get very often. And there are 2 sides of the problem. So there are challenges from within the community, so like the example that you gave, and there are challenges from the external community as well, so inside and outside. Now, the way that we are working is that our goal is eventually to, of course, create role models, change mindsets and all of that, and also to take families along. Because a lot of times what happens is, and this is with almost 90% of the program participants' families, that they don't even know that their daughters, nieces, cousins, whatever, are even attending a program like ours. Now, the reason that these young girls join our program and they most likely hide from their parents and don't tell them is so that they can pursue their own dreams and have their own agency, and that's what we want. We want to give them the agency. But what we realize is after they graduate, and we invite families to graduation, whether they know, whether they don't know, we invite them, we send them letters of appreciation saying thank you for giving us the opportunity of working with your daughter for 6 months. And we see that parents now have started becoming role models in their communities. So we have our parent communities who then start working as role models with the next batch of parents, next batch of participants' parents, to guide them and tell them. And while we won't be able to prevent it as much, the change is happening. It's slow, but we are seeing change happen. So I'll say that I hope this friend of yours is happy, and I hope that she has the agency. With whatever she's doing, I hope that she has this agency. But in the larger scheme of things, things are going to change. It's going to take time, but they will start moving. My biggest push always is that Led By is the only organization that is doing this for young Muslim women. And I hope that in the next 5 years, we are not the only organization. And there are more people who come and support us and join this mission because we need the help. And similar to Karta, similar to Eklavya, we need the help to be able to push this work and to change mindsets in the community.
Thank you. One last question. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Everybody, good evening. I am Vinuta, assistant professor from Government Degree College, Baswangudi. So I'm also, my specialization is also women studies and gender studies, and I also observe the society and the women position and situations. And I also associated with the social transformation movement with some associations. So this session, actually, this is the needed thing. When I sat in the morning sessions, that I thought, so this is some corporate event or something like that, so it is nothing to deal with me and my students. So when I attended this and I learnt all the 3 women and all the 4 women on the dais, so I was happy. And this is what our students needed. I also work in a government college. There we get from the underprivileged students, marginalized communities students, and we get a lot of other people come now and then, and they want to come and talk, and they just give career guidance. One session they give and go. So that will not do anything to them. We have excellent students. What we feel is when they need some coaching to attend some entrances, to get into some good higher education institutions, so that their career and jobs, they get higher jobs and the salary. That will only change their position in the society and in the family. Nothing else will change. Otherwise, they will be starting their career with 10,000 when they go out of the college. And I think all the 3 of you, and also I am very happy that Madam started for the Muslim women. So they are even marginalized. Among the women, they are even more marginalized community. And also she thought of the other community. That is also a good thing, and it is also a challenging. So it is easy to trust the same community people, but when we need to trust the others, outsiders, it is even more challenging, I think. So I suggest you to, it is the work needed now. You can tie up with the government colleges, PU colleges, our government college, rural colleges, all need this kind of constant support, not one day seminar, not one workshop. It won't do anything because we see all those kind of things every day. So I request you to take this seriously and start from our government colleges, from PU level or even high school, 10th level. So after 10th also, they have many other good courses so that they can get into jobs. So thank you, madam. Thank you for the session.
Thank you for sharing your
Continue
thoughts.
the same thing. Even I work in a government college, and I have been working for almost 25 years in government colleges. It is very unfortunate that I teach English. Now, teaching English isn't unfortunate, but the text that we teach them, we did optional English too, and it was all about world literature. We talked about America, we talked about England, Lonely Londoners, we talked about Australia and everything. And we are selling them dreams, just empty dreams. So when I tell them my passion is to travel, which I haven't done, but I tell my students, at least I want to see my students go abroad, go for higher education. But 25 years, not a single student of mine has gone to higher education outside our own college. That's it. And my dream is let them explore, let them go out, let them see the world. And unfortunately, morning I had a conversation with one of the attendee, and the person was telling, okay, let them work in HR. Why limit them to HR? Why make them work for the leisure class? See, when we teach employability skills, when we teach communication skills to our students, what we are aiming at is only of this level, not the higher level. We only want them to get into HR, front office. One of my students, as she was telling her students excel, so do my students. He has got 100 on 100 in political science, and today he's working in one of the hotels in Jainagar, and he makes excellent tea. And I ask him, what about all that you read about UN? And he says, forget UN, ma'am. If I get money for today, that's more than enough. That is the situation of the youth from extremely highly marginalized backgrounds. I want to see a beautiful life for them too. I want them to visit Japan and see the cherry blossom.
Thank you so much, Arpana, Dipanjali, Smita, Prerna, for sharing your valuable insights, experiences. And I think we have been blessed listening to all of them, and it's really wonderful to see all of you working with marginalized people who are unreached, right? Okay, so before we sign off from this session, we would like to take a moment to appreciate all of you and thank you. And we would just like to appreciate with you with a small token of appreciation. So on behalf of everyone here and Mentor Together, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to Arpana for sharing your insights and inspiring us today. Thank you so much. On behalf of everyone here and Mentor Together, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dipanjali for sharing your insights and inspiring us today. On behalf of everyone here and Mentor Together, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to Smita. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and inspiring us today. And we want to thank Prerna, who is my colleague. We work together, and it's so wonderful to see her on the dais sharing her experiences. Thank you so much, Prerna. Thank you, everyone. We have a tea break from 4 to 4:10. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so you can take 10 minutes break and then feel free to come back if you're interested to join here. Thank you so much.